When the gods disagree, the mortals suffer. I couldn't find a better line to describe today's video. I'm sure you've heard of Norse gods, the Eternals, the Celestials, and many more, but the ones we have today are a little peculiar. The Marvel Universe is vast and full of mysteries yet to be discovered. The more you dig, the deeper it gets. In this video, we bring you the Octessense, an assembly of 8 rival cosmic entities who sought to prove themselves the most powerful. Each of them created a totem that held a fraction of their vast power and would transform the first human who touched into an exemplar, a living embodiment of that power. Sounds intriguing? Wait until you find out who the exemplar that was also an X-Man. Well, kind of. So sit tight as we uncover the Octessense. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Octessense. Why, what, and how? A millennia ago, the Octessense gathered for a fateful contest to determine the mightiest of them all. Among them was Cyttorak, a powerful entity known for his immense strength and insatiable thirst for victory. The rules were simple. Each being would use a magical relic to turn the first humans to touch them into avatars of their power. These avatars, known as exemplars, would wage war against each other until all were defeated except one, and the being whose avatar emerged victorious would be declared the winner. Intrigued by the challenge, Cyttorak devised the Crimson Crystal, a powerful artifact he placed inside a temple that would eventually become Korea. To ensure its safety, he tasked a demon named Zorak with guarding it with his life. But as centuries passed, the world changed and the once mighty Cyttorak faded from memory. That is, until a group of monks summons him to Earth only to unleash his devastating form upon the world. Chaos reigned as the world was thrown into turmoil and all seemed lost, but a pair of wizards, Tar and Gomer, rose to the challenge and successfully sealed the destructive form within the Crimson Gem. And so the legacy of Cyttorak lived on, waiting for the day when a worthy exemplar would emerge to claim its power again. It's important to know that there was a time on Earth when primitive humans once worshipped Cyttorak as a god and a demon. However, his reign of terror on our world was not to last, for he was eventually banished back to his home dimension, forced to leave behind the devotees who once paid him homage. But Cyttorak's influence would continue to be felt on Earth as he sought to further his destructive power by selecting mortals as his avatars, as earlier discussed. The who's who of Octessense. In the world of Crimson Cosmos, there were 8 powerful entities known as the Octessense: Balthak, Cyttorak, Farala, Icon, Kraken, Ragador, Voltor, and Watum. As we already know, these rivals were constantly vying for supremacy, but instead of engaging in an all-out war, they devised a cunning plan called the Wager of the Octessense. Each member of the Octessense would select a mortal champion and empower them to fight on their behalf as an exemplar. If you like it so far, you're going to love what's about to come. Let's stroll to the Crimson Cosmos and learn more about the members of the Octessense. Despite being powerful entities, little is known about the Octessence's origin. One of the 8 cosmic entities, Balthak, was a being of pure energy whose power was invoked for its destructive energy bolts. Balthak, chosen candidate, was tasked with discovering the blinding brazier of Balthak in a temple in Nunavut territory, that's modern-day Canada. Once found, the brazier would empower a mortal champion to serve as Balthak's exemplar. The honor fell to Samantha McGee, who became the Inferno, a force to be reckoned with thanks to the immense power bestowed upon her by Balthrak's brazier. The next principality in the Octessense was Farala, whose favored weapon was the fearsome fist of Farala. Nigel Pigman in Peru discovered the temple that housed the fist. Still, Andreas Sorba was ultimately chosen to be Farala's exemplar, taking on the fearsome fist of Farala. Another significant member of the Octessense is Icon. Long ago, he buried his ivory idol in a temple in Kenya. Later, a few Tibetan monks who worshipped Icon made the bell of Icon call on their deity. However, James Narcross, a university professor, stole the bell and killed some monks. Icon sought revenge for his worshipper, and years later, a student named Mary Elizabeth played the bell, allowing the partial demon entry to Earth. To fully connect, Icon inserted pieces of himself into students at Narcross University, causing chaos. Years later, fate intervened as a child stumbled upon the ivory idol of Icon, transforming into the powerful exemplar known as Bedlam. Next on the list of angry gods is Kraken. He was a mystic principality who wielded great influence over Ireland and Great Britain 10,000 years ago. His followers, empowered by Kraken's priest, saw him as a savior. Ulysses Bloodstone, a warrior and scholar, mistrusted Kraken and his priests. Bloodstone believed that Kraken was amassing too much power and that his intentions were far from pure. Bloodstone prepared himself for the inevitable clash with Kraken. He sought out the Nullgem, a powerful artifact that would grant him the strength he needed to face Kraken. He traded the Nullgem and his firstborn child, his daughter Lyra, for power beyond comprehension. The bargain paid off. Bloodstone emerged victorious, banishing Kraken to another dimension. Kraken, a mystic principality, forged pacts with sorcerers far and wide who would invoke his name to cast powerful spells, including the infamous Chains of Kraken. The Northern Irish Temple, which served as Kraken's stronghold, housed a precious artifact known as the Crestral Key of Kraken. The key was meant to empower Kraken's chosen exemplar in the wager of the Octessense. However, fate had other plans. A bold venturer, Bridget Malone, stumbled upon the temple and the Crestral Key. Unbeknownst to her, the key bestowed her immense power, transforming her into the exemplar known as Conquest. Coming to Ragador, one of the most captivating Octessense, reigns as an immensely powerful mystical deity. The likes of Doctor Strange have been known to call upon his magical might in times of dire need. So potent is Ragador's power that even the Living Tribunal, a humanoid cosmic entity of incomprehensible might, once acknowledged the potency of his spell, the Seven Rings of Ragdor. This spell is said to be so powerful that it can prevent targets from casting universal and dimensional energy spells. In preparation for the wager of the Octessense, Ragador crafted the Ringed Ruby of Ragador, a precious artifact meant to enhance the power of his chosen exemplar. Ragador found his servant on Earth, and his exemplar came to be known as the Stonecutter. Next in the pantheon of these supernatural beings, there lurked Valtor, a lord of demons who held sway over the Dark Realm. His devoted followers, the High Seers of Nox, dwelled in a pocket dimension and peered through Valtor's toxic fumes to discern glimpses of what they lay ahead in the future. Yoshiro Hachiman discovered the verdant vial of Valdor and Tahiti and turned himself into Valdor's exemplar known as Decay. With a mere touch, he could reduce living matter to dust and decay. Let's talk about the legendary Wand of Watum himself. He bestowed a portion of his formidable power onto his faithful exemplar, Tempest. With his newfound gift, Tempest could summon winds that function as an unlimited teleportation spell and a limitless interdimensional spell. As Doctor Strange himself proclaimed, the winds of Watum were capable of propelling him across vast expanses of space through impossible pathways beyond the limitations of reality itself. And finally, it's turn for Cyttorak. According to lore, Cyttorak is a primordial entity of unfathomable age, spanning from several millennia to several billions of years. He's known to manifest in one of two forms, the first of which is a divine-looking deity that serves as a wellspring of power for sorcerers and magical beings, and an immense power of might, including the likes of Doctor Strange, Dormammu, and Ancient One. The other form of Cyttorak is known to take is the fearsome demon-like entity that endows the mighty Juggernaut with its unstoppable power. This particular manifestation is often referred to as his most destructive aspect, implying that there are other aspects of Cyttorak that have yet to be discovered. Even more intriguing is the story of how his destructive aspect was unleashed. It's said that a group of monks attempted to summon Cyttorak back to Earth, but in doing so, they inadvertently set free this evil form of the entity. Eventually, this aspect was contained within the Crimson Ruby, where it remains trapped to this day. One of the most noteworthy tales is when, in a long battle against the Exemplars, Juggernaut fought alongside the Avengers, using his strength to defeat most of the Exemplars and even destroy the God Machine itself. And finally, they emerged as the ultimate victor, fulfilling the terms of the wager that had been set. A great example of Cyttorak's power was when he exhibited his mastery over creation, fashioning a whole new species of mythical elves to worship him in the Crimson Cosmos. And as if that wasn't enough, he also brought forth magical guardians to safeguard his temple in South Korea. Cyttorak and the Birth of Juggernaut. Did you know Marco Kane and Charles Xavier were brothers? Well, stepbrothers and comrades in arms, serving in the military's Korean unit. They got entangled in a dramatic chase when Marco deserted during battle. Pursuing his wayward brother, Xavier stumbled upon a hidden cavern that housed the ancient temple of Cyttorak, the otherworldly entity of immense power. With a flash of impulsive curiosity, Marco seized a glowing ruby from the clutches of a statue. He read the ominous inscription which bestowed upon him the incredible abilities of the Juggernaut. Alas, a catastrophic cave-in left Marco buried under tons of rock. But his newfound invulnerability and strength allowed him to survive and escape. Yes, Juggernaut isn't a mutant. There, I said it. Taking absolute advantage of his powers, Marco sought to assert his dominance over those who dared to oppose him, even slaughtering an entire village for their lack of worship. Over time, he made his way to America with one goal in mind: to kill Xavier. But little did he know that as the Juggernaut, he had become the human avatar of Cyttorak himself, releasing his soul to the deity's will. The Juggernaut's powers were temporarily removed by Cyttorak himself as punishment for failing to carry out his will, but later restored. In a different storyline, Juggernaut was once again chosen as Cyttorak's exemplar on Earth and found himself among the disciples of Cyttorak in Thailand. This time, the cult had become cannibalistic and was set on using the Warlock's Eye, a powerful weapon of mind control, to take over the world. When Thor came to the temple to retrieve the weapon, Juggernaut stood against him. As his defeat, Cyttorak began to doubt Juggernaut's worthiness as his exemplar. Juggernaut was tested again in an illusionary world created by Cyttorak's other disciples. With the help of a younger version of himself, Juggernaut finally unleashed the full extent of his power and passed the test. However, he was not pleased with Cyttorak's manipulation and decided to seek revenge by searching for the other 7 gems of Cyttorak. He was determined to make his master pay for playing with his mind. In conclusion, the Octessense is an intriguing concept in the Marvel Comics universe, and knowing how it came to be sure helped us grasp the larger mythos of the universe. These powerful entities have been there for ages, and even now, the universe is still shaped by their influence and might. They significantly impacted the creation of deadly magical objects, like the Serpent Crown and the Wand of Watum, consequently allowing them to penetrate more worlds. The notorious Juggernaut is one of the characters whose transformation has been aided by the Octessense, as witnessed in detail. The Artesians as a whole makes up a distinct component of Marvel lore. They are deserving additions to the Marvel mythology due to their age-old backgrounds, intricate relationships, and extraordinary abilities. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it geeky enough to stay hooked. Remember to subscribe for more content like this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. We love hearing from our viewers. Until next time, stay marvelous.